At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, and wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax.
And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could before someone lifted the Lorax away.
What was the Lorax and why was it there, and why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives there and asked him he knows. You won't see the Onceler, don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of miff-muff remove. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps if you're willing to pay.
On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail. You had to toss in 15 cents, a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather's snail.
Then he pulls up the pail and makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount.
Then he hides that you've paid him away in his snuff, his secret strange hole in his groveless glove. Then he grunts.
I will call you by whisper phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone.
Slop, down slumps the whisper-phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear. Since they have to come down through a snargly hose, he sounds as if he has smallish bees up his nose.
Now I'll tell you,
he says with his teeth sounding gray,
how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swans rang out in space. And I first saw the trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffle trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze.
And under the trees there were brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot shoes as they played in the shade and ate truffle fruits.
From the rippleless pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around.
But those trees, those truffle trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart, and in no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffle tree with one chop.
And with great skillful skill, and with great speedy speed, he took the soft tuft, and he knitted a thread. The instant he finished, he heard
Kazoom! I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy.
Mister, I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues. And I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs.
He was very upset as he shouted and puffed.
What's that thing you made out of my truffle truff?
Look, Lorax, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt. It's a sock. It's a glove. It's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats.
Sir, you are crazy with greed. There's no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed.
But the very next minute, the Lorax was proven wrong. For just that minute, a chap came along. He thought this need was really just great. He happily bought it for $3.98.
I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy.
I repeat, I speak for the trees.
He rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone and he put in a call. He called all his brothers and uncles and aunts and said,
Listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road to North Nitch, turn left at Wee Hawkins, right at South Stitch.
And in no time at all,
In the factory he built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. They were all knitting, feeding just as busy as bees to the sound of the chopping of a truffle tree.
Then, oh, baby, oh, how my business did go. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow, so I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle trees at one smacker.
They were making things just 4 times as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore.
But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped.
I am the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barloots who played in the shade in their brown bullard suits and happily lived eating truffle fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle fruit to go around. And my poor barbaloots are getting all the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys.
He cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know.
He meant no harm, he most truly did not, but he had to grow bigger, so bigger he got. He biggered his factory, he biggered his roads, he biggered his wagons, he biggered the loads of needs he shipped out.
He was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. He went right on biggering, selling more needs, and he biggered his money, which everyone needs.
Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes.
I am the Lorax.
He coughed and he whiffed and he sneezed and he snuffled. He snarled, he sniffed.
Onceler!
He cried with a cruftless croak.
Onceler, you're making such smog to smoke my poor sweet swans. Why they can't sing, and no one can sing who has smog in their throat. And so please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you smogged up around here. What's more, let me say a few words about Glupply Glup. Your machinery chugs on the day and night without stop making Glupply Glup and Squapply Squap. And what do you do with the leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man. You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed.
No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So we sent them all off. Oh, the future is dreary. They'll walk on their fans and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary.
And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap, and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights here, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm biggering, and biggering, and biggering, and biggering, turning more truffle trees in a need which everyone needs.
And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffle tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, the uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved goodbye. They jumped into the cars and drove away under the smoke-smokered stars.
Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax and I.
The Lorax said nothing, just gave him a glance, just gave him a very sad backwards glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And he'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace.
And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was all a small pile of rocks with a one word unless.
Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I sat here and worried away. Through the years when my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all my heart. But now,
says the Onceler,
now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So catch.
He calls the ones where he lets something fall.
It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of them all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds. And truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula. Treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest. Protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back.